going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the HASAN broadcast coming to you live from a very special location, D.C., Washington, D.C., the heart of empire, the belly of the beast. We are live. We're live. Coworker Cliff from Streamer U, 800K a month from sponsors. Ludwig just said he made $1.1 million in June. Merch. Dude, that's crazy. Yeah, the amount of money I just fucking cast aside for not taking any sponsors is insane. That is actually fucking nuts. That is actually, it's got to be like a really good month for him or something. Jesus Christ, dude. Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I would never talk to me again either, bro. Are you kidding me? $800,000 a month? And motherfuckers like, yo, you got to blacklist this dude? I'd be like, sure. Who are we blacklisting next, AT&T? I'd be like, I'm not touching that guy. Are you fucking kidding me? 800 grand? That makes so much sense. Hey, good on him. Good on him, dude. I take it back, bro. None of you would say no to the bag. A bag that size, you'd be like, yeah, Hassan, fuck that guy. I'm joking. I am joking. I am memeing. I'm embellishing. I'm being hyperbolic. I'm cracking fucking jokes before people freak out. But goddamn, there's a lot of cookies. Holy shit.
How much I made? How did I pay for all of that? Well, good news for me. Merch sales. I got $7,800.
Wow.
Not bad. YouTube. That's just the YouTube revenue. This includes YouTube live streams, shorts, and videos. 270,000. Twitch gonna be smaller for me, guys. I do not make as much on Twitch. 57,000. I only run about 6 minutes of ads an hour. I have 9,500 subs. That's about what you make for that. The biggest bulk of my money, though, I made a pivot in my life. I decided I wanted to stop being viewer funded. All right, I did a subathon. I had the most subs any streamer did. I had like an average of 20, 30,000 subscribers.
I like that content creators also position themselves as like getting the bag from sponsorships as like somehow the more ethical way to do business, where they're like, I just don't want to be viewer funded, guys. I don't want to take your money. I thought it'd be much better to get like, you know, international conglomerates that give me money instead. I think that's probably the best way to go about it. Like, that's so funny to me, where it's like, oh yeah, I know. It's really corrupt to steal money from the viewers. Look, Ludwig and I do very different things, okay? And therefore, you know, my business model is very different than his. Mine relies entirely on voluntary subscriptions. The Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the people, for you, the people. I don't have any sponsorships. I don't run any ads. It's just the way this business keeps rolling, where I can, you know, spend all this money on fucking flying around the country and shit. All of that comes from you and your voluntary contributions. I obviously have an international shipping conglomerate as well, but that's just like a side hustle for me. I know that makes like, I know the net revenue that generates is around like $10 billion or so, but that's just a side hustle for me. But like my real job is this, and my revenue is just Twitch subs. That's it. Amy Goodman doesn't call Deanna business Democracy Now! A business model. I mean, it's not. I'm just talking big business style because I wear a suit. I'm a suit guy. I'm a business guy. So I'm talking revenue. I'm talking KPIs. I'm talking direct response ad campaigns. We're talking CPMs. And also on top of that, I'm talking about moving units, specifically through the Malacca Strait to the beautiful nation state, city-state of Singapore. I mean, Ludwig is a massive content creator, so it does make sense. Obviously, this is not going to be like the average content creator, but he, like, making $1 million a month is unbelievable. That is unfathomable. And it's kind of funny because I think people think I make that kind of money. Like, I make a lot more money than the average person does. It's not a secret. But there's levels to this shit in this business, in this industry. I very openly voluntarily forego a good chunk, like the overwhelming majority of his revenue. I don't get any of that, and that's by design. Part of that is because of like my content and my commentary. Part of that is because I don't want any editorial control. over whatever I do. One of the biggest criticisms normie streamers get is literally them profiting off of poor reviewers, totally different than what HASAN gets. Oh, I know. That's the funniest thing, is that people always say like, oh, subscription is like bullshit because it's fucked up. You're like abusing and exploiting your viewers, as opposed to getting funded by corporations. It's like, well, you know, when you're running an operation that is criticizing every goddamn corporation in the country, both of the two major parties, let's be real, this has to be independently funded in order to maintain my independence, my editorial independence. Obviously, if you're making fun content, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can get as many sponsorships as you want. You can get more subscriptions as well. Like, Ludwig could obviously still make a lot more money. He could still continue to farm subs and pump more ad revenue if he wanted to. So there's like ways that he can maximize his revenue, and he chooses not to. That's his method. Mine is obviously a little different.
I ran a higher density of ads.
What is this? D and Voss said you made $1 million a month when you ran ads? No, that's not. Weren't you making $1 million a month? No, dude. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Why do you think Destiny or Vosh would know how much money I make a month? Why do you think they would know that? Stop listening to other people, especially people that have never had the same size audience that I have, and especially people who are not even on this fucking platform, man. I make $1 million a week. No,
And then I said, you know what? I don't feel good as a multimillionaire getting these people to pay me money. I didn't like getting 100 gifts. It made me feel weird. I'm gonna start pivoting to get most of my bread from sponsors. That's the biggest cut of it.
You had 3 times of Lud's viewers, but made 120 times from ads. Duh. Yeah, I had 3 times Lud's viewers, but it doesn't. I've made a fucking tenth of Lud's revenue.
Okay, I'm a Rebel athlete. I have an AT&T sponsorship, and I also have an Alienware partnership. These are long-term partnerships. All right, and I do one-off deals as well, as you guys do. This number's 800,000. Okay. So the total you can break through 1.1 mil.
How is giving away money when you give editorial control on Twitch, which is owned by Amazon? That makes 0 sense to me. Do you think Amazon is okaying everything that I'm saying? Like, the limitations that I have is within the terms of service. But as long as I don't violate the terms of service, let's be real. Like, do you think Amazon is signing off on everything I say and do on this platform? Are you out of your mind? Amazon has contracts with the Israeli government, dog. What are you talking about? How do editorial control come into it? Great question. If you have long-standing contracts with major companies, whether it be AT&T or whether it be any number of different companies, many of them sell products in the country of Israel, for example. Many of them have direct relationships with the nation state of Israel. So, no criticisms of Israel, or very, very modest and very moderate criticisms of Israel, if at all. That's how a company would maintain some semblance of editorial control over what I do. The most editorial control that Twitch has ever had over me is back in the day when I had a contract, and part of that contract stipulation was that I would run ads. I would tell people that they should use an ad blocker to not see the ads. And Twitch told me I can't do that. Expenses, payroll, 225 grand, travel, 55 grand, events, 69 grand, marketing, 10 grand, total $359,000. That's a lot of overhead, and it's a lot of money. Good on him. Corporations don't give you money for free. What the fuck? They demand you to say in a show. No, like, here's the thing. For what Ludwig does, this makes perfect sense. It actually makes perfect sense for what Ludwig does. Because Ludwig doesn't have, like, Ludwig is not going to talk about, like, controversial issues, right? Ludwig is not going to talk about politics for the most part. He has a political position, but he's not going to, like, make that the primary focus of his content. So for him, this makes total sense for him to get funded by sponsorships, because, like, they're not going to be like, hey, you can't, like, they're not going to have a big opinion on, like, hey, you're not allowed to talk about, like, Nintendo or something. You know what I mean? You're not allowed to explain what your favorite Smash character is. That would be a ridiculous demand from a corporation. That's never going to happen. That's why I keep repeating, like, for what I do, editorial control and you know, money is mostly just freedom and safety to be able to hire a lawyer if necessary. Money allows me to travel freely, and money allows me to have a comfortable security barrier in my life, and also be able to fundraise or you know, be able to put together this operation, like, with ease. If I were to get it from sponsorships, they'd obviously have issues they'd obviously have issues with what I say, what I do. I mean, we've had venues literally fucking cancel political rallies with now the person who won that race, right? Maylot Kiros in Denver. For that reason, I think the best, most resilient way to maintain that editorial independence is through a subscription-based model where people just give voluntary subscriptions if they want to. You travel a lot. Would you say you spend $55K a month on travel? No, I don't. That's an insane amount. I don't know what the fuck he's doing, but he probably travels more than me, maybe.
We are Charlie Kirk. We carry the flame. We'll fight for the gospel. We'll honor his name. We are Charlie Kirk. His courage on. Together unbroken. We'll make heaven known.